Hey, you guys. I'm here to do my No Cap Sunday update. You probably will hear a bunch of noise, and my niece is kind of running around here. She's looking, trying to see what I'm doing. Because we come over to my dad and my mom's house every Sunday. So when I record these, just get kind of used to hearing family in the background because that's where I'm at after church. And I want to make sure that I do the No Cap Sunday review. So this morning, um, we had service, and one of the things that I got out of Sunday school this morning, you hear me say a lot about Sunday school because that's really where most of the studying is done, and the preaching is preaching. They preach to you about stuff. So anyway, we were talking about the parable of the seed and the different types of ground that the seed was quote unquote planted on, and how it was scattered all over different types of ground, and how the seed that was on rock did not grow, and then you had the seed that was scattered and it grew for a while and then it wilted, and then of course there's a seed that grew in fertile land that was what was needed and grew and flourished. Well, of course, that parable is a, direct, correlation, basically showing us as individuals and how, we are the seed, basically. And how we grow depends greatly on how we nourish ourselves spiritually. This is a big thing because I often struggle with this particular thing where I'm not nourishing myself enough, and I can feel it. I can feel when I'm not praying enough, when I'm not studying enough, when I'm not having enough time. Hold on a second. Little girl, go up there and see what your mama want. I'm sorry, y'all. She coming. Um, Sorry about that, you guys. She's 2, so anybody's been around 2-year-old knows what that's like. Anyway, so that's something that I struggle with often. And I'm sure not just me, where you get so caught up in life itself and you don't study, you don't meditate, and then you start to feel kind of frustrated and just kind of annoyed, or feel stagnant, and or you don't feel like you're hearing, like you usually would hear from God. That is always when I'm not fertilizing, my seed, my soul, with the word or with prayer or meditation. So this is something that's major, as individuals. Even people that don't share the same beliefs as me believe that meditation is such a powerful thing, that is just really important. And for a Christian, meditating, praying, reading the word, just taking time to just hear, and a lot of times we think of prayer as a one-sided type of thing. It's not. Prayer is definitely two-sided. Of course, we have our petitioning prayers where we're asking for stuff. Those are the prayers that are just so easy for us. But then there's those prayers that we need to be listening. That's the part. We pray about it, and then we need to listen for instruction. We listen for God. Somebody's probably thinking, how do you listen for God? Well, there are signs. And then, that voice we hear in our head that we often acknowledge, a lot of times that's God trying to tell us, what we need to do, compelling us to grow. So this lesson was very powerful, when you talk about the seed being planted and how important it is. And then, something that I brought up in our conversation this morning when we were talking, sometimes that seed or that plant might grow for a little while in a certain area. Anybody that's a flower person, I'm not, but my parents, they grow plants quite a bit. But knows that sometimes you have to repot that plant. And sometimes we need to repot ourselves. That means that we may get uprooted from what we're used to. And if you notice, if you know anything about plants, sometimes when you move them, they go into like this shock. So you don't need to do anything else to them but just nurture it and just shock. Well, we're the same way. Sometimes God will cause us to have to change our normal day to day and uproot us. And when it's time to do that, you'll notice that most times that you get uncomfortable where you are. You get uncomfortable with what you're doing for some reason, or things don't seem as happy in the spot that you were before. That's because you need to make a change. There's some changes needed. Something I noticed over my career, anytime I might love a job and then it's like I'm good. I don't want to do nothing else. And then it's like God will make that space uncomfortable for me. And things may happen. It could be something simple as changing management. Um, it could be, job change. It could just be anything. And I'm like, ugh, and it'll motivate me and compel me to move forward to do that thing that I needed to be doing in the first place. It's the same thing with our spirituality. Sometimes we have to be uncomfortable before we move. You'll see in your life a lot of the times you pray the most when things are bad. That's crazy. And when things get good, we kind of, I'm not going to say we forget about God, but we don't, a lot of times we don't study like we should or pray as much, except for when things are not going well. And I'm trying to get into a habit of praying no matter what, meditation no matter what, to prepare me for those things that do come up, um, because being a Christian or a believer, period, does not mean that things don't happen. Things still happen to you. And if you're not deep rooted in your faith and nourished, those things that happen in life will take you out. So that's my No Cap Sunday review. Took about 5 minutes or so. You guys like this video, share it on your timelines or share it with your friends. Subscribe to Shay Cherie on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at Shay Cherie on Instagram. And also you can follow me or like my page on Facebook, Memoirs of Imperfect Christian. I also post some of my blog postings on that page on Facebook. So if you like to read, I have some of those up. Leave your comments. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good Sunday.